I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and thank everyone for coming in this evening. It's good to have you on this cold, snowy night. Meeting will come to order. Okay. Can I please have roll call, Ms. Witt?
Ms. Stedmeyer Walls.
Present.
Dr. Rice.
Present.
Ms. Fountain. Ms. Sanders.
Present.
And Ms. Eldemeyer.
Present.
All right, thank you very much. We have a quorum. Okay, next on the agenda, can I have an approval for today's agenda? Someone please approve today's agenda?
I approve today's agenda.
Can I have a second?
I second.
It's
I'm
been-
sorry, I can't hear who's,
I second. And Ms. Eldermeyer.
Ms. Aldemeyer approved.
and Ms. Sanders second, thank you.
Correct. Okay.
Questions?
Just making sure she put down everything.
Questions?
Discussion?
Number two is public comments up front.
Yes.
Why? I'm
I
just
want them
curious.
there. I chose for them to be there.
You chose for them to be there?
Okay.
Okay. Is that gonna be something that we will have always, or is this just for today? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I'm saying, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But today,
Thank
I
you.
wanted it that way.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, let me see what was I after that. I forgot what I was doing after I had.
Online voting is open.
Thank you very much. Okay, next we have on the agenda.
Yeah, we gotta vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, Ms. Sanders,
Yes.
all votes are in, motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next on the agenda, I would like to have public comments. We didn't have anything up here for them to write it down with.
In a special meeting, there is not public comments.
Oh, okay. 'Cause you-
Only those items that are on the noticed agenda can be spoken in a special meeting.
So how do we know what the question is then if has to do with what's on the, is your question anything to do with what's on the agenda for tonight?
It does not matter in a special meeting. It's only those things that are noticed on the notice that's sent out to the public.
Okay. Would you?
Can I, yeah, I can talk to you.
Well, it was just referring to,
You wanna step out? I can step out.
Oh.
Yeah, I can step out.
Because I think it's about
I can step
the one
out.
that we're having tonight.
Good.
Okay. She was in once before and she was asking questions that are going to relate, I think, to Mr. Bunkley and his presentation this evening. And we asked her to come back. So I want to wait a minute until he comes back in. Proceed?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. With that, you're welcome. With that, next on our agenda, we are going to have Mr. Dennis Bunkley. And he is going to give us some information on scenario 5. Mr. Bunkley, could you please step to the podium?
Good evening, President Stedman World,
Thank you.
members of the board,
Good evening.
Superintendent Pettigrew, community at large. My name is Dennis Funkley. I'm the Director of Systematic Integration and Alignment for the East Cleveland City School. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Can you say that title again?
Director of Systematic Integration and Alignment for the East Cleveland City Schools.
Integration and alignment.
Tonight, I'm going to talk about scenario 5 of our facilities plan, which is a strategic approach to the aligning of our spaces, and that is our buildings and grounds, our enrollment, and in general, our instructional processes or priorities, and what's best for students. All right, Tom, I'm ready. We hear you. We've been listening. You've invested in our schools, and so have we. Sometimes change is hard, but you have to have an understanding of what that process is to get you to the best yield. East Cleveland just earned its release from state oversight. We have real momentum. The question becomes, how do we keep that momentum going? This is not about closing buildings. It's about opening doors to a better use of our resources and stronger program development and a stable future for every child. Next.
Can you tell us why you're wearing a hat?
Well, I really can't. Because for me, I've been here since I've been in kindergarten, in the early 60s. And earlier this week, we had a presentation about how do you appreciate things. I stand here as the guide of my domain. I have an understanding, and it represents something for me just to stand before you and have a category that I can say, hey, I've done the work to be the expert in this category, and that's what this hat represents. And it was given to me, and I'm very proud of it.
Looks good on you.
All right, thank you. The reality, where are we today? We are functioning with a district that was prepared to entertain the needs of 3,459 students. Right now, we're serving 1,069. That's 31% capacity. Now let that sink in. We're doing what we used to do for 3,000, almost 3,500 students. And we're down to almost 1,000 students. And we're still practicing as if though we had all of those students. Next. What happens if we do nothing? Rising costs, aligning aging facilities, fewer resources for students, eroding progress. If we have a building that's only entertaining, we have one building that possibly could entertain all of our students, but we're keeping all the other buildings open, we're still paying the heating costs. We're still paying all of the costs involved in making sure or sustaining that building. So what I'm saying is that we have to take an approach to look at the mechanism to move us forward with the momentum that we've already established with state takeover. What the scenario actually does change. Mayfair Superior closes as a standalone building. 4 buildings in operation, and that is Prospect, Caledonia, Kirk, and Shaw. Grade configurations restructured, pre-K to K, 1 through 4, 5 through 8, 9 through 12. Students and staff reassigned within the district. District operating costs reduced by approximately $3 million a year. That's with this scenario and the closing of the 2 buildings. What stays the same? Your child remains in East Cleveland City Schools. All academic programs continue and strengthen. Performing arts pathways continue. Expanded high school options, continue. Special education services and IEP commitments, maintained. The district's commitment to every student's success is still in place. So that's moving from the 6 building model to the 4 building model. Next. Projected building utilization by 2028. 4 buildings, each with a clear purpose, each better resourced. I'd like to share a story with you. When I saw this, I thought, well, we're still down. And I was having a conversation with Dr. Pettigrew, and it was the way that he looked at it. It was not that we're down in number, but it's open to the possibility of bringing on more students. So I had to readjust my approach in terms of thinking in a deficit model towards what we can achieve if we identify our space and we move forward accordingly and utilize our resources in a manner that would build programming in the district. Giving the district room to grow. Next. Where things stand. Next. What's done? This is work that you can actually see. We replaced the roof at Chambers, Caledonia, roof replacement phase 3. It's complete. The Kirk sidewalk, stair repairs, those things are complete. So we've been working on this. It's not just something that's coming about as we speak. Currently in progress, we have active work underway. And when I say active, we've contracted to put those things in place, or we've made agreements to have those things entertained. The masonry repair, Prospect Administration Building, Kirk playground surfaces, Kirk parking lot repaving, Chambers HVAC replacement. Being transparent, we want to make sure that you understand that this is it's a process. Some of the things that we are still in place of putting in place are the Caledonia Emergency Power System, Kirk roof replacement, Prospect and Administration Building hot water system, Caledonia parking lot repaving. All of these things will be entertained under scenario 5. What we control versus what we don't control. Fully in our control. Kirk sidewalk, stair repair. Kirk parking lot contracted. Chambers HVAC contracted January through July. That means we've already done the work, we've secured the bids, we have the things in place to do that work. So we're in control of those instances. Things that are vendor dependent. Caledonia Power System, lead time pending based on the availability. Kirk roof, they're giving us the pricing during the month of April. So they're coming out and looking at those things because we've identified them as the direction that we want to move in. Prospect hot water system, awaiting the timeline. Weather and timing, Prospect masonry. It's weather dependent. It's not something that I can say, hey, we're gonna take care of it next week and then we have a snowstorm. All outdoor work at Shaw, parking lot work, spring window required. I thank you so much for giving us some questions that you had a concern with prior to my presenting. It helped sort of solidify what the presentation was about. You had a concern with the equity impact. The question that you asked, will this hurt students of color or low-income families more than others? The district is 89% Black or African American. Any decision affects our community broadly. An equity impact analysis examines demographic shifts, program access, and transportation burdens across all neighborhoods. What's next? Equity findings will be shared publicly before final decisions. Community feedback is a part of the analysis, not an afterthought. So that means that we're leading, looking for feedback and an understanding of what the process is. The next question, student transition. What you asked, what happens to my child on the first day at a new school? What we know, a comprehensive transition plan is being built covering bus routes, safety protocols, IEP continuity, and school culture integration, including student visits and counseling support. Some of this work is not new work. We've been doing this all along to secure the well-being of our families, and we will continue it. We're focusing on them because of the immediacy of our approach in the moment. What's next? Orientation events, school visits, and family briefings will happen before opening day. It's not going to be something that's hurry up and rush. We had discussions about some of these things this month. We've been talking about it since last year. What we need to prepare the setting to move forward and to be comfortable in moving forward. Next, staffing. What you asked, what happens to teachers and staff? Will we lose good people? The district's priority is retaining teachers and staff within the district whenever possible. Placement decisions will consider certification, experience, and student need. The district is working closely with employee groups to ensure a fair and transparent process. Affected employees will be notified well in advance.
We're looking at April. We're gonna bring that to the board in April.
Future of closed buildings. What will happen to Mayfair and Superior after they close? No final decisions have been made. Again, the process is impacted by a lot of outside mechanisms, and we're looking at those things and we're taking into consideration data. So my purpose is not to be here and give you a concrete answer, but it's to usher you into the understanding that we're looking at all of the data and we're taking those things into consideration. Consideration includes community services, early childhood use, lease or partnership with community organizations, or responsible sale. Any future use decisions will be made with community input. Buildings that have served generations deserve a thoughtful next chapter. Next. Financial savings. Where does the money go? Will we actually see savings in classroom? The district projects approximately $3 million in annual operational savings from consolidation. Reducing utility, maintenance, and overhead costs tied to underused buildings will create this $3 million asset. A net savings analysis will be shared with the board and community. The goal is to redirect resources towards instructional programs and student support. So the answer is yes. Next. Communication and transparency. How will we know what's happening and when? What we know, the district is committed to ongoing proactive communication through public board meetings, community forums, website updates, school newsletters, and direct family outreach. A dedicated update schedule will be established. Families will always have the chance to ask questions and provide feedback before final decisions are made. What this means for your child. This means for your child, transportation, adjusted bus routes, no child left without safe, reliable transportation, new routes shared before school starts. Safety, updated arrival, dismissal procedures, supervision plans finalized for every receiving building. It will be specific to the new shape of the district. Programs, all current academic programs continue, performing arts pathways and advanced coursework strengthened. So that's the utilization of the funds that will be provided by closing these buildings. It will be used to strengthen those pathways. School experience, smaller school population, better resource buildings, familiar teachers, and a supported transition. So that sort of encompassed the majority of your questions in terms of the teachers, the support, the use of the funds, transportation, how we're going to go about the transition, and where will it lead to. Key milestones. Now through April, community forums at work sessions continue. Equity analysis released. Board receives final scenario 5 recommendations. We're working on these things now to have them available by the end of April. April through June. June update on scenario 5. That's again with being transparent. We want to continue to provide the information so that you can follow the process as we're moving through it. Staffing reassignment process begins. Transportation redesign begins. Critical projects contracted. June through August. I want to go back to the April through June because earlier this morning we had a meeting where we already started some of that work that we had earmarked for April. So we're trying to get ahead of the curve just in terms of preparation. June through August, construction and facility work completed. I already went over the process in terms of what takes place when. And even though we have contracts in place, we're actually going to implement the work and move towards completion, weather permitting. Student orientation and building visits, family transportation notifications sent. Opening day, all students in their new schools, full transition support active, feedback loop continues. The feedback loop will always continue in terms of where you're at, what are you thinking now, how is this impacting you, so that we can always adjust if we are able to. How will we keep you informed? Public board meetings, direct family outreach, community forums, project status updates, a continuation of our current practices. All right, I want to say this with my hat on. Every child, every school, every day. We will be transparent, even when the news is hard. We will keep students at the center of every decision. We will complete this transaction with dignity and care. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And at this juncture, if you have any questions, I'll do my best to try and answer.
Can I get one quick question?
Absolutely.
And then Tom, you back there, you may have to help with this one. Let's talk about class size, student to teacher ratio. What's going to be different from the 6 buildings to the 4 buildings? Can you give us a little insight on that? In other words, do parents have to worry about their child in bigger classes or any kind of different arrangement?
not particularly bigger, but better utilized. We're way under in some circumstances right now.
What's the average class size or ratio right now? Just off the top of your head, I'm not asking for exact.
18-1
Mhm.
ballpark. I know there's gonna be a couple of outliers that are out there, but Paula and I have looked at staffing and looked at where we are currently.
Okay.
And the reality is this, we will graduate 100 to 110 students here in May, June, and we will not bring in 100 to 110 kindergartners. Our kindergarten numbers continue to decline, where we would typically average 4 classrooms in kindergarten, and we try to keep those numbers at about 20, at a 20-to-1 ratio. At this point, we're even lower than that. Caledonia has seen, we're down about 40 students in Caledonia for K through 2 this year compared to previous years. Kirk is also down significantly. We have a couple of small bubble grade levels at this point. So it almost creates a sense of emptiness in some of the classrooms. So it's not like we're going to be looking at a 30 or 35-to-1 classroom, student to teacher ratio in a classroom. That's not what this plan will do.
Okay. Thank you, Madam President. I just had a question.
Oh, that's good. I have one. If the tax bill on the homes goes through, how effective will that be? How will that impact this program for us?
If the tax bill,
The housing tax,
housing tax goes through,
that we don't pay house tax.
Diana, did you hear that question? You have
I did.
information?
I did. If that housing tax bill goes through, that will impact us at about $7 million per year, which is what we collect in property taxes. So of course, with that kind of a deficit, and if the state does not come in and replace those funds, we certainly would have to go back to the drawing board again, looking at a $7 million deficit, having to see how we would continue, because that's a lot to lose from your income.
Yeah.
And it truly is up to the state. I don't believe at this point something like that will happen, but certainly the state would have to intervene with a lot of school districts if that were to happen with more funding.
Thank you, Diane. And my second one, this was an excellent report that you gave us. How often can we get this? Captain.
Again, as I shared with you in terms of scenario 5,
Mhm.
you're gonna be receiving updates, constant updates, just so that you can have an awareness of the movement.
Tom, can you pull up the other 2 documents that we're using to guide this work? This is the community facing presentation, but I just want to show you the level of I guess, depth that they're going through. Scroll, please.
Let me pull this up a little bit.
Okay. So this is the actual things that need to get done, and who needs to do them, and just keep going. But just to show you all the things that we're talking about working through, that's just, we're still in the summer with all of these pieces and parts of all the different departments. And then if you keep going, just keep going, Tom. Each department then has by category things and where we are. So we're tracking now all of our projects and all of the statuses of everything. So we will be able to come and inform you as to where things are. Can you show the other document as well? So that's just a system guide, but then we're also looking at it through a tracker, and we're making sure as we're meeting, we're trying to make sure everything that we need to get taken care of, because there's a lot of moving parts. We're trying to make sure we don't miss anything, and that when we open up opening day, every single thing has been thought of. And we just have to keep coming back to the board and the community, giving updates of our progress. Thank you, Tom. You can take it off.
Does anyone else any questions, Diggs?
Yes, Madam President, I have a few. Firstly, excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Absolutely excellent, and thank you very much. A lot of things made even more sense, and I think I have seen scenario 5 since quite some time.
Yeah.
Mhm. So things are making more sense as you are getting things more finite. But I was wondering, you said the enrollment is now 1,069?
Yes,
Of that 1,069, how many are East Cleveland? And I know East Cleveland usually has a lot of people.
About 75%.
75%.
About 75% of
Yes.
the, okay, 75%. Thank you. And you said something about the windows at Shaw. I didn't really catch what you said.
the windows at Shaw, that's a part of what's being contracted for. We're looking at those things, but they're weather dependent.
Right. Okay, so that's, Shaw had a lot of windows.
You talking about the Shaw work. In the presentation, it was the Shaw work, that those items that need to be done outside of Shaw.
Oh,
That's what it
okay,
was.
that's
And
what
they're
because I
weather
couldn't
dependent.
quite
Yeah.
hear it, okay.
Yeah, there's some masonry,
Uh-huh.
the receiving area has some masonry needs to be repaired. There's some things in the parking lot need to be repaired. It's those things that once it warms up, we'll be able to fix, those items.
Thank you. And lastly, you had several statements on there about transportation. I know that was a biggie at the start of this school year, all over the state of Ohio, from Ohio all the way to California, transportation. Because it seemingly, not only was it buses, but it was bus drivers and all those kinds of things. So I know you're probably gonna planning on building in all of that over the summer to get those bus routes, buses and drivers.
Yeah. And I've asked the team to, before the end of school, before kids go home, we're gonna try to get those things to them. So that's
Oh, wonderful.
It's
Absolutely.
pretty standard in many districts that you get this information before you go home. So we have to, in all of our planning, we have to also execute that as well. So
Excellent.
we'll be bringing that back, and I think we have a big presentation in June to the board and to, similar to this, to go back through everything and make sure that we let you know where we are with all of the projects. So we gotta come right back. And within there, we have to build a couple of community forums so that we can continue to explain it to the community.
I think that's great, definitely.
And just to show a connection from the work that we did with Dr. Pettigrew yesterday and this morning, we've already scheduled, Tom and I, we've already scheduled our transportation meeting for Friday of this week.
Great, that is definitely great. And I know I've been on the road when I see East Cleveland buses and I have some happy children on those buses, so that's good.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate your indulgence.
Fantastic, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Okay, then moving on, we're gonna go into education. We have a resolution to authorize the contract with and payment to Edmonton. Dr. Pettigrew, would you give us a little insight on that?
I'm gonna do that. Tom, let's give Edmentum 30 seconds.
Sure. Edmentum is a multifaceted program that we use here in the district for both credit recovery purposes, but also for enrichment and tier 1 and tier 2 support in the classroom. So Edmentum has been a partner in the district for some period of time. They're working specifically with what was called Exact Path, which looks at how students scored on diagnostic assessments, math and reading, and then provides individualized pathways for students to be able to either catch up to where they should be or extend them past where they're at in terms of grade level. So personalized learning pathways in a digital environment for students. This is DPIA funded, so that's disproportionality. So this is, Diana can speak a little bit better to what DPIA exactly is, but it's not a beat up on the general fund. Diana, if you wanted anything there?
No.
Okay.
So what Tom said was, this is tutoring services for the geometry students ahead of the geometry test. And this is, the students asked for some additional supports. They emailed me and said, hey, we think we need some more things, some online things. Tom and Connie reached out and found this as a supplemental to what we're doing. And this will be from now until the math test, they're gonna be engaged in some more supplemental tutoring. try to help them get their scores up.
Mm.
That's what Tom said.
And thank you for breaking it down. I understand it better now.
Okay, can I have a motion that we pass this resolution?
I motion that we authorize the contract with payment to Edmonton.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If none, can I have a vote? Are you saying something?
Online voting is open. All votes are in, motion passes.
Okay. That pretty much does it for our business. Now we're going to go into executive session.
You have one more.
You got one more, welfare and public relations.
Oh, that's right. I started to put that on for next week. But anyway, the welfare and public relations, because I understand there was no meeting
And that's not on the, it's not on the,
agenda.
Yes, it is one thing on there under welfare and public relations.
it's not on the
It's
work
not on the
session.
work session.
Oh, okay, so good. Let's omit it.
Yes, I was. That's
Uh-huh.
why I was going on to executive session.
Uh-huh. Communication makes the world go round. Mhm.
Okay. Okay, I will entertain a motion to enter the executive session under Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G1 to consider the employment and compensation of public officials, specifically the treasurer's well, not the treasurer's, I'm sorry. But that does remind me. Can I stop before I go into executive session?
Intended.
I need to stop before I go into executive session. Because
It's not on the agenda.
discussion, this should have been in discussion.
It's not on the agenda. I don't think we can talk about it.
Okay,
I'm looking at legal, we can't talk about
okay,
it.
so
It
this
has
is
to be
the
addressed at a
second
regular
mistake.
meeting, yeah. just at a
Okay.
regular meeting.
And then I'll do it at a regular because it suddenly occurred to me that I didn't do that.
Mhm.
And it's my fault. Anyway, as I was saying, we're going into executive meeting to consider the employment compensation of public officials, specifically the superintendent's contract. May I have a motion to go into executive session?
I motion that we enter into executive session regarding the employment of the superintendent's contract.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved to second. Discussion. Vote, please.
Online voting is open.
Thank you. You know, unless you tell me that, I don't have sense enough to look at my computer and see that it is open. So I appreciate it.
All votes are in, motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much. We are now going into executive session with our legal department that's present. Ms. Donna Andrews. Andrews. Mhm. Been moved and passed? Where's she? She's staring at me.
Hey, Ms. Donna, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?